The morning light spills softly through the window, bathing the room in a warm golden glow. The house is quiet, not the peaceful kind, but the kind that lingers. You move through your morning routine, pouring coffee, gazing out the window, feeling the warmth of the cup in your hands. The phone sits untouched on the counter. No calls. No messages. The silence stretches, heavier than the coffee cup itself. Then comes the thought, unshakable. If something happened right now, who would know? Who would come? It's a question many seniors face but rarely say out loud. You tell yourself you're fine, you've always been independent. But deep down, there's an awareness that life feels different when no one is checking in. Living alone can be a gift. The freedom to set your own pace, to make your own choices. But independence should never come at the cost of security. And solitude should never mean feeling forgotten. The good news? Being alone doesn't mean being vulnerable. There are ways to create a life that is not only safe but filled with connection, peace of mind, and confidence. And that's exactly what we're here to talk about today. Because staying safe while living alone isn't just about avoiding risks, it's about building a life where you wake up each morning feeling secure, in control, and never truly alone. Stay with me because in the next few minutes we'll go through 5 simple but powerful ways to not just protect yourself, but to thrive. And if this message speaks to you, consider subscribing. Here, we're not just sharing advice, we're building a community that reminds you, you are never truly alone. Now, let's get started. The house that once held laughter, conversations, and the steady rhythm of daily life now holds something else, silence. Not the kind that soothes, but the kind that lingers, stretching across empty rooms, settling in the spaces where companionship once lived. It is in these moments, standing alone in the quiet, that a thought begins to take shape. Is my home truly a place of safety, or is it quietly working against me? A home should be more than just a place to live. It should be a sanctuary that protects, strengthens, and gives you confidence. But the same walls that once made you feel secure can, over time, become an obstacle course of hidden dangers. A rug slightly out of place. A hallway that feels just a little too dark. A doorstep that once seemed small but now feels like a mountain. These small details are easy to overlook, until one day they aren't. But safety is not about fear, it's about freedom. It's about knowing that every step you take is steady, that every movement is made with ease, that if something were to happen, you are prepared, not just hopeful. Imagine waking up in a space designed with you in mind. A safety corner in each room stocked with a flashlight, a phone, and medical essentials, ensuring that help is always within reach. Motion-activated lights guiding your steps before you even need them. A video doorbell allowing you to see who's there without hesitation. A home that listens to you, where with just your voice, lights turn on, doors lock, help arrives. And beyond technology, the small changes matter just as much. A bed positioned at the perfect height so getting up in the morning feels effortless. Non-slip flooring that turns once risky steps into steady strides. A space that moves with you rather than against you. Because a truly safe home is not one you tiptoe through, it's one you move through with confidence. It is the difference between worrying about what could happen and knowing that whatever comes, you are ready. And it all starts with one simple step. Walk through your home today not as you always have, but with fresh eyes. Notice what can be safer, what can be easier, what small change could make the biggest difference. Because when your home is built for safety, your life is built for freedom. A home can protect you from the outside world, but what protects you from the silence? The doors are locked, the lights are bright, the floors are safe beneath your feet. But security is more than just walls and windows. It is knowing that someone, somewhere, is thinking of you. Jane, 72, a retired teacher, once believed she had everything she needed. She cherished her independence, the freedom to spend her days as she pleased. But one evening, as she set her dinner plate down at the table, she paused. Across from her sat only an empty chair. She reached for her phone out of habit, only to realize it hadn't rung in days. The house was safe, but something was missing. At first, she brushed it off. She had always been self-sufficient. But slowly, the loneliness settled in, not as a sudden shock, but as a quiet weight, one that pressed down heavier with each passing day. Then came the thought she had tried to ignore. If something happened, how long before someone noticed? That night, Jane made a choice. If connection wasn't coming to her, she would create it herself. She started small. Each evening, as the sky faded into soft pinks and golds, she made what she called her sunset call. One night, it was an old friend from her teaching days. Another, a cousin she hadn't spoken to in years. Some calls lasted 5 minutes, others stretched into laughter-filled hours, but each one reminded her of something important. She mattered. Then she went further. She set weekly social anchors, a standing coffee date with a neighbor, Sunday dinners with family, a monthly book club that gave her something to look forward to. Instead of hoping to run into someone, she created spaces where connection was guaranteed. And on the quiet days in between, she joined a phone tree, a simple system where friends took turns checking in on one another. It wasn't about long conversations, just a quick message. A voice on the other end saying, "I see you. You are not alone." Because human connection isn't just about passing time. It's about being remembered. It's about knowing that if something wonderful happens, there's someone to share it with. And if something difficult happens, someone will notice. And so Jane's life began to change. The quiet of her mornings was no longer heavy but peaceful because she knew that later a voice she cared about would fill the space. Her home had not just become a place of safety, it had become a place of belonging. Loneliness is not an inevitability. It is something we can push back against, something we can reshape. And it starts with a single step. Who can you call today? A friend? A neighbor? A relative who hasn't heard your voice in too long? Pick up the phone. Let them hear you. Let them know you're thinking of them. Because connection doesn't just happen, we create it. And in doing so, we remind ourselves, and each other, that we are never truly alone. A life filled with connection is a life filled with security. But connection isn't just about conversation, it's about knowing that when the moment comes, there's someone to turn to. A friend to call when the car won't start. A neighbor who notices when the paper sits too long on the porch. A helping hand when the to-do list grows heavier than expected. Because true independence isn't about standing alone. It's about knowing you don't have to. For years, Margaret prided herself on never asking for help. She handled everything, fixing things around the house, sorting out her bills, managing her own doctor's appointments. But when a minor fall left her unable to drive for several weeks, she realized something unsettling. She had no plan, no backup, no one she could call without feeling like she was burdening them. The thought sat heavy in her chest, not just the inconvenience, but the realization that, in all her independence, she had unintentionally built a life where she had no one to lean on. But what if support wasn't about burdening others? What if it was about building a foundation of security, a network that ensured no one ever felt stranded? That's when Margaret decided to create her life support plan, a simple but powerful way to make sure she always had people to rely on. She started small. She asked a trusted neighbor if they'd be willing to be her go-to person for home repairs. A loose step, a flickering light, the little things that could easily become big problems. Then she reached out to a retired friend who loved to drive and arranged a standing agreement. In exchange for rides to appointments, she'd help them organize their financial paperwork, something she had always been good at. A local church group connected her to a nearby college student looking to earn extra money running errands, and she added their number to her list. Slowly, her what-ifs turned into "I have someone for that." A support system isn't just about emergency contacts, it's about knowing without hesitation that help is there before you need it. A handyman you trust, a driver you can count on, a financial guide who ensures you never feel lost, a healthcare advocate who makes sure your voice is heard. These are not just names in a phone book, they are the difference between uncertainty and peace of mind. And building this network is easier than you think. Platforms like Nextdoor and local Facebook groups make finding reliable professionals simple. Community exchanges, trading home-cooked meals for help with technology, offering gardening tips in return for small home repairs, transform neighbors into allies. The truth is, support is often closer than we realize. We just have to take the first step in reaching out. So ask yourself today, who are the 3 people you can call when you need help? Write them down. If you can't think of 3, start now. Because true independence isn't about doing it all alone. It's about having the right people in place so you never have to. Having a strong support system means knowing there's someone to lean on when you need help, but what if the greatest help you can give yourself is the ability to stand strong on your own? Because no matter how many people surround you, no matter how much love and support you have, independence starts with your body's ability to move, to carry you through each day with ease, to give you the strength to say yes to life rather than watch from the sidelines. Think of your body like a classic car built with care, rich with history, and capable of incredible journeys. But even the finest machines need maintenance. When cared for, they glide effortlessly down the road, their engines humming with quiet power. But neglect them. Let the oil run low, the tires wear thin, the engine sit idle for too long, and suddenly movement isn't as smooth. The same is true for your body. With the right care, it will carry you forward, not just for years, but for experiences still waiting to be had. But taking care of yourself doesn't mean exhausting workouts or rigid routines. The best kind of movement is the kind that brings joy, not obligation. A simple walk becomes a moment of connection with a walk and talk ritual. Calling a friend as you move through your neighborhood, turning each step into a shared conversation. A favorite song playing in the kitchen transforms an ordinary moment into a 3-minute dance break, filling both body and spirit with energy. Even on quieter days, gentle chair yoga and stretching keep joints flexible, ensuring that every movement remains effortless rather than something to overcome. But movement alone isn't enough. Your body also thrives on what you put into it. Eating well doesn't have to be complicated. It's about small, consistent choices that nourish you from the inside out. The rule of 3 makes every meal simple: 1 protein, 1 vegetable, 1 healthy fat, a balanced plate that fuels your energy without overthinking it. Keeping pre-cut fruit, almonds, or Greek yogurt within reach ensures that smart choices are easy. It's not about dieting, it's about giving your body the care it deserves. Because when you move with ease, you live with ease. You say yes to last-minute plans, to walks that stretch into long conversations, to bending down without hesitation, to chasing laughter, to feeling fully alive. Strength is not just about muscle, it's about the freedom to live fully, fearlessly, and without hesitation. And it all starts with one small movement. Not a drastic change, not an overwhelming routine, just a step. A stretch before getting out of bed. A short walk after lunch. A song played just for the joy of dancing. Try one small movement today, because the strength you build now is the key to a future where you don't just exist, but thrive. Strength isn't just about the body, it's about the ability to move through life with confidence, knowing that every aspect of your well-being is protected. Because what good is feeling physically strong if a single scam, an unexpected crisis, or a financial mistake threatens the independence you've worked so hard to maintain? True security isn't just about movement, it's about having the freedom to live without fear, knowing that both your body and your future are safeguarded. For years, Richard, 74, had prided himself on his independence. He exercised daily, ate well, and felt stronger than ever. But one morning, while reviewing his bank statements, he noticed something strange, a series of small withdrawals he didn't recognize. At first, he thought it was a mistake, a simple banking error. But as he looked closer, the truth sank in. He had been scammed. The realization wasn't just frustrating, it was devastating. He had always been careful, always believed he was too smart to fall for a trick. But the truth is, scams are no longer just obvious emails from strangers promising fortunes. They are phone calls from people pretending to be loved ones, fake warnings from banks demanding immediate action, door-to-door scammers preying on trust. The worst part wasn't the lost money. It was the loss of trust, the feeling of vulnerability in a world that suddenly seemed predatory. But vulnerability is not the same as helplessness. The best defense isn't fear, it's preparedness. Financial and personal safety starts with a strong foundation, a financial safety net that ensures control over your money and peace of mind for the future. Automating bill payments prevents missed deadlines, fraud alerts act as silent guardians, and assigning a trusted financial advocate, a family member, friend, or advisor creates a second set of eyes to catch anything suspicious. Because being proactive is always easier than dealing with the damage after the fact. Beyond banking, personal security is just as critical. The grandparent scam has fooled even the most cautious individuals. A distressed voice on the phone claiming to be a grandchild in trouble, pleading for money, urging secrecy. But one simple code word, a prearranged phrase that only real family members would know, can turn panic into clarity. If they don't know the code, the conversation ends. A scam is stopped before it even begins. And what about home security? A daily light routine, using timers to make it look like someone is always home, keeps opportunistic criminals at bay. Smart locks and video doorbells allow you to see who's outside without ever opening the door. And if someone knocks claiming to be from a utility company, a quick verification call before allowing entry ensures that safety is never left to chance. Because true security isn't just about avoiding loss. It's about protecting your peace of mind. It's about knowing that your future is safe, that your independence is intact, that no one can take advantage of your trust. The world may be full of risks, but it is also full of solutions that put you in control, ensuring that your life remains yours to lead on your terms. Start today. Review your bank statements, activate fraud alerts, and check your home security. One small step today can prevent a lifetime of regret tomorrow. Because peace of mind isn't just a luxury. It's the foundation for a life lived fully, fearlessly, and with unwavering confidence. A life lived alone is not a life lived in isolation. It is a canvas, one that you have the power to shape, to fill with meaning, to make entirely your own. Safety, connection, well-being, and peace of mind are not just luxuries reserved for the fortunate. They are choices built through small but powerful actions taken every day. Because independence is not about facing the world alone, it is about creating a world where you are secure, fulfilled, and free to live on your terms. You have already come so far. You have built a life filled with resilience, wisdom, and strength. And now, with the right steps in place, you can ensure that the years ahead are not just safe, but deeply rewarding. A home that protects you. A circle of connection that uplifts you. A body that moves with ease. A mind that stays sharp. Finances that remain secure. These are not just precautions. They are the foundation for a life where you continue to thrive. Because the truth is, growing older is not about fading into the background. It is about stepping forward with intention. It is about knowing that your greatest years are not behind you, but ahead of you, waiting to be shaped by the choices you make today. There is a quiet power in knowing that you are not simply enduring life, but embracing it on your own terms. And it all begins with a single choice. A phone call to reconnect. A small home upgrade to add security. A daily walk, a fraud alert, a check-in system. Each step, no matter how small, moves you closer to a future of confidence and control. You are strong. You are capable. And your future remains entirely in your hands. So what will you do today to strengthen your independence? Which of these 5 strategies will you put into action first? Let us know in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And remember, living alone is not about being alone. It is about creating a life that is truly, undeniably yours.